Hello and welcome to the Warhammer Rumble. This week we are going to be discussing issue number 3 of the Warhammer 40K Combat Patrol subscription magazine from Hatchet Park Works. This week we have 5 Infernus Marines models, as well as some terrain pieces, double-sided, as well as the data cards for our Ringed Tyranid Prime, our Von Ryan's Leapers, the Infernus squad we get this week, our Captain and Terminator armor, as well as future models such as our Barb Gaunts, our Terminator squad, our Librarian and Terminator armor, and some Termagants. All the information we need to play battles in the 41st millennium. Now, the information on the data cards will be explained in a future magazine, and how to use these terrain pieces will be explained later on. The Infernus Marines are push fit, so new glue is going to be required. I will show you what those look like put together later. First, let's go up to the magazine. Burn your foes, explore the Space Marines, move and shoot. So, we have a build section, a few read sections, collect, and play. So first, our build section will tell us how to build the Infernus squad. As you can see, no glue is required. They are just push fit. Very easy, not difficult to put together. And we have some lore. 1,000,000 worlds. The Imperium believes that the galaxy belongs to it by right. Over 1,000,000 worlds, plus countless space stations, lunar colonies, and listening posts. Imperial citizens toil in the name of the God Emperor. These worlds reflect the brutality of imperial rule and are cruel places designed to feed an endless war effort. We got the various types of worlds. We've got hive worlds. Hive worlds house countless trillions of imperial subjects within the spires of hive cities. Hellish sky-piercing towers that rise balefully from the mists of polluted wastelands. All who live here must toil endlessly. Hive worlds were the basis of another Warhammer game setting called Kilting. Forge worlds are planet-sized factories, overseen by the holy orders of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their forges produce the tanks, guns, and colossal battle titans required for the Imperium's endless wars. Agri-worlds. The ecology of many imperial worlds is wrecked by war and industry. They rely on agri-worlds for food. These worlds are dedicated entirely to farming grain and herding hardy livestock. And finally, we have shrine worlds. Shrine worlds are covered in temples, reliquaries, and tombs for the Imperium's honored dead. Pilgrims crowd in their millions on the bulk haulers to visit and pay their tithes on worlds such as this. Some more lore on the Space Marines. Space Marines at war. Space Marine combat doctrine is focused on using a small elite force of troops to shatter a larger force in a single brutal strike. The tactics used to accomplish this strategy are varied. Space Marines are, above all else, flexible fighters capable of adapting to any enemy and any situation they should face. The Vanguard. Armored support and companies. A Space Marine chapter is made up of companies. Some companies are balanced armies unto themselves, are a balanced army unto themselves. Others are made up of elite warriors who share the same tactics and ways of war. This is first company of the Ultramarines. They're blue, that's their symbol. Only the most skilled warriors are granted the honor of joining the 1st Company. Here, the chapter's greatest veterans are formed into elite units specialized in line breaking and close assault. Squads of 1st Company veterans are often fielded alongside other companies to aid them. We have 10th Company, Deep Strike. More lore. Tyranid. And we have our Infernus squad. Infernus Marines are masters of close quarters combat. Armed with fire-belching pyre blasters, their duty is to utterly purge the enemy with jets of searing flame. Infernus Marines are valued highly by Space Marine captains in the cramped corridors of starships and against the vast swarms of the Tyranids. Unit name, build, paint, play, and a data sheet for them. Again, talking about how to name your units. And finally, we have our play section. Cleanse, purge, kill. An Infernus Marine has been dispatched to burn his way to the heart of the Tyranid swarm to rescue his commander. However, he has run into a Tyranid trap. An infestation of Tyranid tentacles that spew vile spores into the air. Will he be able to purge the Tyranids, or will he perish? And talks about the rules for moving and shooting and inflicting wounds. Here are your rules and shooting attacks and our mission. In this mission, you will use an Infernus Marine to purge a number of Tyranid infestation sites. The infestation sites are represented by your Tyranid Terrain Battlefield Essentials cards. Place them with the statistic size facing up in the spaces shown on the battle mat below. And this is your main battle net. So we have our regular side and sides with statistics, which include toughness, save, and wounds. So wounds are how much health something has, how many HP. Tells you how to do movement, your targets, how to roll, etc. And your victories. Once again, on the back, we have more wound markers, an overview of the combat patrols, and the paints. Next week is our first paint issue, where we get Macragge Blue, Baraknar Burgundy, and Wraithbone base paints. And we get some lore on the Silver Templars and how to use the data sheets that we got in this week's issue. The week after, we will have our brand new Infernus Marine Sergeant model. And some dice, and we get some more lore. Now, I'm going to go put these together, come back, and show you what they look like. With the second delivery of 4 issues came these tools. You have a pair of snips and a mold line removal tool. They are not the best, they are basic, and you can find better. As I said, week 1, the first issue, these are my snips. Rubberized handle, very easy to use. And I prefer this mold line removal tool by Games Workshop to this one. While they are almost identical, this one is not nearly as easy to hold as this one is. So, you can either use these, donate them, give them away, and buy yourself a much better tool. Games Workshop even makes snips almost as good as these. So, it is up to you which one you prefer. I personally prefer these, and these are the ones I'm using to build the models. All right, here we go. I have completed all 5 Infernus Marines. And if you look here, you will notice that there are extra parts on the sprue. A different face, this one helmeted, different arms. The directions have you put part number 34, 35, and 36 on the model for the sergeant. We have part number 13, 30, and 32, which are optional poses and bits for the sergeant that replace his face with a helmeted version, just like the rest of his squad. Replace his bolter there with his arms, with just fists, and his melee weapon with something else, with again his fists. But each Infernus Marine has a different pose, but as you can see, they're almost all in similar positions. Now, even if you didn't have the directions, it is rather simple to put them together, because as you can see from the directions, for example, for this one here, 20 goes into 21, 22 goes into 23, they connect, 24 and 25 are the arms, 26 is the backpack, and then goes in the base. Same with here. Number 1, 2 goes into 3, number 1 goes into them both, 4 and 5 are the arms, 6 is the backpack, goes in the base. So, even without the directions, you can put them together. And because they have options for the sergeant, you don't have to use the specific parts called out in the directions for his arms or his head. If you put him together and you decide you don't like that look of that and you want to try these, well, he's push fit so he can easily come apart. Next week, we have our paint magazine. Macragge Blue, Baraknor Burgundy, and Wraithbone, as well as a starter brush. So, next week, we will get these painted, at least undercoated with Macragge Blue, color of a ultramarine. I intend to use the spray paint version, because I'd be able to undercoat them all at the same time instead of doing them individually. But those are the Infernus Marines put together with our extra pieces, which are going to go in my bits box for future usage. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next week.